Coming up on Bloom, get ready for our Better Sex edition. Hear from the experts about what it takes to strengthen your bond and create more intimacy. And we'll have exercises that are scientifically proven to get you in the mood, plus foods you can eat to heat things up. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, a full hour dedicated to your health and wellness. So get ready to bloom. Today, things are getting a little steamy as we have top experts in to help you create more intimacy. And come to find out, your sex health is directly linked to a better immune system, lower blood pressure, better heart health, and improved self-esteem. It even decreases depression and anxiety. Joining us now is behavioral scientist and the author of 7 Layers of Successful Relationships, Dr. Gino Calora. Dr. Gino, it's great to see you.
It's so good to see you, Gayle. Always a pleasure.
Hey, congratulations. Another baby's on the way.
Yes, another baby is on the way. We are incredibly excited. A little nervous, but incredibly excited.
Well, we're excited for you here on Bloom. And
Thank you.
Today we are talking about something that comes with a lot of health benefits, and that is sex. And so we're just going to break it down on a scientific level because it impacts your physical health and it also impacts your mental health. So what would you say is the difference between a good sex life and a bad sex life?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about a good sex life versus a bad sex life, let's first talk about numbers, right?
Okay.
So on average, the American household, as far as a marital couple is concerned, right, it's 1 time per week is what we're looking at for intimacy, right? So let's just stop and think about that for a second. 7 days in a week, 1 day out of those 7 days, we're actually engaging in intimacy, right? Now, when we think about that, we start breaking down, what does it mean to have a good sex life with my partner? What's actually happening? We're having an opportunity to share and bond, right? That is very, very unique just between the two of us, right, as husband, as wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. So when you look at good versus not so good, we have to look at what I call T-squared, talk and touch, right? How deep is the quality of communication you have with your partner, and how often do you actually express that love, not just via words, but also touch, right? And being able to have more touch points with them on a regular basis, to be able to amplify the impact and maybe bump up that number of, instead of 1 time per week, 2 or 3 times per week, right? What does it take for us to get there?
And when, you're in a marriage or in a relationship and time goes by, for many, the flame starts to fizzle. And I think for a lot of people watching out there, because sex isn't something you typically talk about with your friends or, whatever, what do you do? Yeah.
So this is tough because I will tell you, pop culture doesn't help, right? There's a lot of expectations that are out there as far as what good sex is supposed to be like. And so many folks focus on just the act of it itself instead of what's going on before and what's going on after. And that matters so incredibly much from a symbolic perspective, right? This is your partner. This is the person that you are sharing this most intimate time with. So you have to make those interactions very impactful and very meaningful. And so many folks think that there's a perfect time. There is no perfect time, right? The perfect time is right now, right? So let's not wait for all the stars to align to have this incredible moment and set an expectation, which often when we set those expectations, we increase our stress levels, right? Because we're thinking it has to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Remember why you fell in love with your partner in the first place. Remember the communication you had when you first started. You had very high levels of oxytocin that were released in the beginnings of that relationship. How do we bring that back?
Yeah, because a lot of times for folks, like the bitterness gets in the way or the exhaustion gets in the way. And, we had a doctor on the show one time say, it's just like going to the gym. It might get to the point where you don't want to go, but once you put on your shoes and you grab your water bottle and you hit the gym, after a while you're like, this wasn't so bad after all. And there are things that you say that couples can do that have nothing to do with the actual intimacy part, but can strengthen the bond that could lead to that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about words of affirmation, right?
Okay.
So many times we carry an expectation of our partner that sometimes it's just unreasonable, right? Instead of taking them for who they are at that very moment, that very time, with all their vulnerabilities and their insecurities and their strengths as well, take them for who they are and don't put pressure, don't put stress, right? So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is we go back to that T-squared, talk and touch, right? How often are you having meaningful discussions where there's no judgment and it's like, you know what, hon, I am so proud of you. You're doing such a great job. Thank you for what you do for our family. Conversations like that make them feel good. You want to build your partner up because that leads to anticipation of, wow, I want to spend more time with him or with her because how they're making me feel right now. And it's so easy to forget that when we are in the mundane grind, right, of Monday through Friday, work and kids and the whole nine, right? So we have to take the time to take a step back and say, let me think about my partner as an individual. And then number three, look, exercise in a very real sense. Like when we start talking about the biological side of things and what's happening neurohormonally, you have got to release those endorphins. You need to have a stress relief so when you go home, you can be calm, cool, collective. You can be happy, right? You want to bring that energy in.
And the other thing I would talk about, and it kind of plays on the confidence level that you just talked about, is that, a lot of times, after you've had kids, this is especially, I think, for women, you don't feel as sexy or as, the wow factor, like you might be looking in the mirror and judging yourself. And I feel like maybe if confidence could happen outside of the arena of intimacy, that's going to help a lot, because a lot of it we stay in our heads so much at all times.
It is such a vital point that you just raised, Gayle. So when we break down confidence, right? So confidence from an etymological perspective, right? It's confide. That's Latin for with faith, right? With faith in what? In you as a human being, and you as a woman, and you as a mother, as a partner, right? So being able to carry that in every single aspect of our lives is so important because, look, we're not computers. Our different portions of our identity, they overlap with one another, right? That's the beauty of neuroplasticity, right? That's how neuroplasticity works. It meshes identities that we carry together. So being able to take confidence that we have in other domains of our lives and feel good about ourselves, it's going to carry over into other aspects of our life, which include intimacy, and it's going to be able to perpetuate having that deep and meaningful conversation, discussion, which obviously leads to that very special moment between you and your partner.
Why do you think that women lose their confidence so much? Because you're a relationship expert. This is what you do.
The demands, the stress is, especially nowadays, right? We live in an operational tempo with technology and smartphones and tablets. The pace at which information travels is unprecedented. We've never seen it like this in the history of humanity, right? And so it's very difficult for us to rise to that occasion of what it is that society is telling us we have to live up to. As compared to, I can look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm doing good. Right? I'm doing great, right? With everything I have going on, right? I mean, think of it this way. It wasn't but 200 years ago, people were driving around in wagons and horses, right? And now it's phone, cell phone, Tesla, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So that pressure, that stress, you have to have the release valve. And the release valve should have a component to do with your partner. There should be that happiness to help you take some of that stress off, in addition to the things that you're doing, going to the gym, eating healthy, sleep, having good communication, making sure you make time for that physical touch as well.
Dr. Gino, thank you so much. We love having you on Bloom. Absolutely. And stay with us, because if you're not in the mood for sex, it's probably not your fault. Dr. Kathleen is joining us to tell us how your hormones might come into play when Bloom returns. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call me right now. The IRS is the most relentless collection agency in America. They have the power to legally take everything you own. Home, paycheck, autos, any asset you have. So what do? Call me now. My team of experts can help you keep your money. We have programs that can significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe, even payment plans that now stretch out for months. We can also stop collection calls, wage garnishments, and remove tax liens. So if you owe the IRS a lot of money and you want to keep it, don't wait. Call the tax man right now.
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
Welcome back. We're talking about the health benefits of sex today, but for some, over time, the flame fizzles. Joining us now with how to get your sex life back on track is functional medicine expert Dr. Kathleen Geringer. Dr. Kathleen, it's always great to see you.
I'm excited to be here with you.
So we're going to talk about the health benefits of sex today. And for women, when they start hitting their 40s, you say it's more common for them to lose their drive than it is for men.
Absolutely. What happens is that even though our fertility tunnel kind of like stopped, that doesn't mean that the bedroom sizzle has to fade out.
And it's important, you know, you talk about sex, and for some it may sound like a taboo subject, but at the end of the day, when you're in a healthy, committed relationship, sex is very important for your overall health benefits, right?
Yes, it is, because it is the intimacy, it's the connection, it's the communication between your significant other.
And there's something called oxytocin that we're going to talk about, and you actually have it all laid out for us of how this impacts our overall health. So talk to me about that.
Yes, oxytocin is known as the love hormone. So I like to talk about like love, labor, and lust. It's a hormone that does all three.
That's good. So even to increase it, like just hugging, kissing, cuddling, trust, you know, social interactions, all of these things will increase those levels.
Yes, it stimulates our brain. It starts at the hypothalamus, which is in our brain, and the pituitary gland is what releases these oxytocin throughout our whole entire body. So it makes us feel connected. It gives us that loving feeling. You want to kiss, you want to be more intimate.
Okay, that's good. So what decreases those levels?
Well, if we can see stress and anxiety, if you're under a lot of stress and if you're anxious all the time, the last thing you want to do is be intimate with your significant other or be cuddling or holding hands or even kissing.
And that's not necessarily a good thing. And then it also drops your lack of ability to trust.
Yes.
Why is that?
So a lot of times the oxytocin, again, is our love hormone. It allows us to open up and be very trustful with our significant other or even our coworkers. So what happens is that when that oxytocin is decreased, that level of trust becomes a paranoid issue.
And I didn't realize that it also can increase bouts of depression.
Yes, because as we approach that menopausal age, what happens? Our hormone starts to decrease, especially low testosterone, and then the estrogen drops down. So what happens is that these women that are going through menopause, they have no idea that their oxytocin levels are dropping. So they're not, as their husband described it, not as warm and fuzzy. So they become pretty cold and irritable.
Okay, and now what does the autism spectrum have to do with this?
Yes, because they find that autistic kids, they have interconnection problems. What happens is that they're not as sociable, and then they're very isolated. And so when we see that, they don't like to be touched, they don't like to be cuddled. And you see, if you test their labs or their blood work, you notice that there's low oxytocin levels.
Very interesting. So how do you treat patients that are dealing, you know, with many of these issues that come along with age?
Yes, so number one, of course, we do blood work to see where the levels are at, and we check their hormonal pathway, and if they need a little extra, there's a peptide where you actually use in an injectable form with an insulin needle. It's called oxytocin, and it actually helps not only sex drive. Some of the patients come back and say, hey, it really helps me with my digestive tract, it helps me with constipation.
That is really, really interesting. So how would a woman know that she needs help? Like there's something going on and she probably should turn to a professional?
Yes, I would say that the signs and symptoms are like you're always anxious, you have a lot of, like you can't sleep, and these are like menopausal or perimenopausal symptoms. But with our younger adults, what happens is that they feel that disconnection or they're full of anxiety.
So you're saying this could happen at a much younger age, because typically when you think of sexual dysfunction, you think of it as you age, like you mentioned, maybe women in their menopausal stage of life.
Yes, even younger adults are having these low hormones, especially when it comes to oxytocin.
What causes that?
It's stress.
Really?
Yes, and then the level of anxiety these young individuals have to go through, it just really triggers it, and it really suppresses your pituitary gland to release the oxytocin throughout your body.
We only have about a minute left, but are there foods, exercise, what can we do on a holistic level?
Yes, I love it when we talk about like food or social interaction. That's why I say connecting with other human beings is so important, because it actually stimulates that oxytocin, or even petting your dog and or even petting your cat, because when you do that, you raise the vibration and it makes you a lot happier.
I love that. Dr. Kathleen, we always appreciate when you come on Bloom. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, and you can find Dr. Kathleen's story on our website. And before we go to break, it is time for today's Bloom trivia question. How many times a year does the average American couple have sex? 32, 66, or 89 times? We'll have the answer later on Bloom. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Physical activity can play a big role in sexuality, and that sparked a pretty interesting idea for a Tampa gym owner. He actually went viral for creating a fitness program designed for couples to stimulate emotional growth and intimate connections in their relationships through physical fitness. Joining us now from Fitness is Micah Morgan. Micah, it's so great to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your fitness program that actually went viral. I understand it's scientifically proven to work.
Yes, well, first, my friend approached me to create a physical fitness program for him and his now wife, girlfriend then. And he just wanted to get moving, and they wanted to get them together and create, you know, a physical change. But after creating that program and them doing it, they actually got closer, intimate.
That's great. So I know that you created a video, which I'm going to strongly suggest that, you know, you go to Micah's website and check it out. It's really fun. It's really playful. And these moves are specifically designed to not only bring couples closer together, but then to strengthen them through physical strength, which is scientifically connected to your sexual health.
Correct, yeah, and endorphins releasing, just feeling good, feeling the blood flow, being stronger, being more secure about each other. It's just a great way to bond as well.
And it looked fun and playful. Like the couples actually looked like they were enjoying each other's company, and it wasn't awkward. It was very organic feeling when I watched it.
Yes, it's the brand new date night.
I like that, the brand new date night. Okay, well, I know you've got a beautiful married couple back here that you were nice enough to come in. I'm going to step off and let you guide them through just some of the routines that you guys do.
Of course.
Okay, great.
All right. So we're going to start off with partner squats. They're going to grab each other's hands. They're going to look at each other in the face. They're going to control their bodies on the downward squat, and they're going to come back up simultaneously. They're going to speak to each other to make sure no one's going too fast or too slow. It's all about communication and strength of seduction. Pace.
Yeah. This is
Beautiful
natural.
job.
That's
Take your time. When they're done, they're going to give each other a hug and tell each other, great job.
great job.
Good job. Next, they're going to engage in partner jumping jacks. They're going to embrace each other's hands, look each other in the eyes. They're going to give each other a count.
Wow. Ready?
Yeah. Out. There we go. Take your time. You good?
This is our cardio version.
Remember to focus on each breath.
Focus on you.
You can hear they're communicating, they're flirting. That's part of Strength of Seduction program. And they're going to rest. And they're going to embrace each other and tell each other, great job.
Good job.
Next, they're going to do an affirmation / cool down stretch.
So what we're going to do is we're going to stretch out our arms as far as it can go, get that good stretch in. We're going to turn to our left, another good stretch here. Focusing on each breath. We'll do the next side. Focusing again on each breath. Just feeling the heartbeat from behind. Just in sync with each other. We'll rise up, take a deep breath, exhale down. And these affirmations we say to each other: you are loved, you're more than enough, and I love you.
That was absolutely amazing. And again, just the tip of the iceberg. It's Fitness, right?
Yes.
I know the videos are on there to watch. You guys were amazing. I love the flirting. I love the positive affirmations, and I love the exercises. Like I said, it's really such a fun and innovative fitness routine, born right here in the Tampa Bay area, now watched worldwide. Thanks, Micah. Thank you both for coming in. And stick around, the Down There Doc. Dr. Marcy is in the house to talk about your sexual health when Bloom returns.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new, clinically proven Legzercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
After using Legzercise for a week, I felt like I wanted to go for a walk again without pain like I used to.
Legzercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
It's helped with the swelling and the pain. The tingling feeling is gone.
Call right now and order your very own Legzercise Pro, the clinically proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call now.
Welcome back. One study says that upwards of 50% of women have reported painful sex after giving birth. Some people may think Kegels help ease the pain, but our next guest says that's simply not true. Take a listen.
Number one, doing Kegels will help if you have pain with sex. Truth! No, they will not. Usually people that have painful intercourse or painful vaginal penetration have muscles that are too short or too tight. So if you do Kegels to help with pain, oftentimes that makes the muscles more tight and more short, which makes pain worse.
Joining us now with tips to ease the pain is Doctor of Physical Therapy, Dr. Marcy Crouch, aka the Down There Doc. It is so great to see you, Dr. Marcy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. I love chatting about all these things.
Yeah, I'm so glad because we have this safe space to talk about something that so many women suffer in silence with. And what are some of the reasons for pelvic pain?
Yeah, it's a great question. So generally we have three main reasons for vaginal or vulvar pain with sex. One would be pelvic floor muscle dysfunction, like too tight muscles or muscles that are in spasm. A second one would be any sort of scar tissue, whether that's in that area from a baby or even abdominal surgery, like a C-section, or when you have a laparoscopic procedure, those scars can cause pain down there. And then a third reason is hormonal. And this doesn't just affect our postpartum moms, but also our moms later on in life that are going through menopause, because those tissues around the opening to the vagina love estrogen. And in both of those cases, we have lower estrogen, and that makes tissue very fragile and can cause a lot of.
Okay, so we've covered trauma, the hormonal component, and scar tissues, and you say these are three things are a recipe for a disaster for some women when it comes to their sexual experiences.
Yes, for sure. And it's really, you mentioned 50% of women, and there's another study too that says 9 out of 10 women have pain with sex the first time they have sex after a baby. And a good chunk of them, about 3/4, still have pain 18 months later. That's over a year of painful vaginal penetration. And it doesn't just have to be sex. It can be like tampons or a gynecological exam or anything going in there. That's a long time to have pain.
And you say there are 3 things that women can start doing now to alleviate that pain.
Yes. So we want to make sure that we're addressing all components of pelvic pain. So from a pelvic floor muscle standpoint, when the muscles are too tight, it's just like having a Charlie horse that you get in your calf, but you have it in your vagina. So there are some stretches that you can do to help release the tension of those muscles and make them not so tight or contracted. Two of my favorite stretches are Happy Baby, which is a yoga pose, and also just a deep squat. Like if you're going to the bathroom when you're camping outside, just a nice, easy squat can help those muscles release.
Do you believe that a lot of women suffer in silence and then it parlays into derailing their sex life?
Oh, 100%, for sure. And I think a lot of it is because, you know, it's kind of hard to talk about. It's a taboo topic. I mean, not in my opinion. I love talking about it. But yes, and I think what happens, just like we see with any injury in our body that hurts, we avoid things, right? And our brain starts to anticipate pain, which can make the cycle even worse. But I know so many women who just avoid altogether because they know that it's going to be painful and they just are completely cut off from that area.
Dr. Marcy, I love you. I follow you. You're so open with your conversations, which is, you know, why you have so many people that follow you. What is it about this subject that has almost become almost like a shame, a slap on the wrist when we really need to be talking about this?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I feel like we could write an entire dissertation about that. But I really think it has to do with kind of the history of women's and maternal health kind of just getting pushed to the side. And a lot of the narrative is that, oh, well, we just have to deal with it. Or, oh, we're being too sensitive. Or, oh, that's normal, right? We get a lot of this, oh, it's normal to have pain after having a baby. It's normal to leak pee. And so over time, when we keep putting ourselves out there and trying to have these difficult and intimate conversations, when they get just shoved under the rug or we're told that we're crazy or that, oh yeah, that's what everybody deals with, over time, we're just going to stop bringing it up, right? Because we're not getting help. I mean, a very common thing that I hear all the time, Gayle, is that women will say this to their physicians or healthcare provider, and they'll say, oh yeah, just drink a glass of wine and ignore it. It'll be fine. And it's like, that is not treatment. I'm sorry. Like that, you can't say that as treatment for painful sex.
That's unbelievable. And that's what I love too, because you're on a platform where it's not intimidating to hear what you have to say and for people to interact with you. And I was going to ask you some of the things that you get feedback on, and having a glass of wine and ignoring it is absolutely shocking to me.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for over, 12 years, and my husband, our job, we move around a lot. So I've had the opportunity to work in lots of different settings, and it doesn't matter where you live. If you live in a big metropolitan city or a tiny suburb, this narrative and that what women hear is the same. It's what kind of connects us all. So hearing, just drink a glass of wine, another kind of catchy term is inebriate and lubricate, which is, awful. Another one would be like, oh, I don't know if you guys have heard about like the husband stitch. Sometimes that used to happen after having a baby. Doctors would sew up the vaginal canal a little bit smaller so it would be better for the husband. I mean, you just like the things that you hear and experience are so heart-wrenching for women.
Really. Well, I'm glad people can turn to you, get the real deal. Dr. Marcy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And when we come back, our friend, the Today Show's Joy Bauer, is joining us with foods that will get you in the mood when Bloom returns. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. Today we're discovering new things for the topic of better sex. And joining us now is our friend, Today Show's nutrition, health, and lifestyle expert and New York Times bestselling author, Joy Bauer. Joy, it's great to see you.
Oh, it's great to be here, Gayle, and what a sexy segment we're doing.
I know, and a lot of people do not realize that there are some foods that can get you in the mood.
Oh, there definitely are. And so I'm going to talk about 3. And the first one is pumpkin. And what I love about pumpkin, and I'm just showing a can of pumpkin right over here, You can get it year round in the grocery store. And if you're wondering where to find it, it's generally at the bottom of the baking section. So if you look around where the pies are and things like that, you'll generally find 100% canned pumpkin puree. But make sure you don't get pumpkin pie filling because that comes with a whole lot of sugar. So the 100% pumpkin puree is great because it's got a lot of potassium. And what potassium does is it lowers our blood pressure and it increases circulation. And so when you have increased circulation all over, it could really help to get you in the mood. And there's a lot of great things that you can do with pumpkin. So I'm showing it right here. This is what it looks like. Just a plain pumpkin puree. And I'm going to add a dollop of it into, this is a vanilla Greek yogurt. And basically what we're doing here is we're making pumpkin pie pudding. So just like this. And another cool thing, Gayle, is they say through studies that just the aroma, the scent of pumpkin or pumpkin pie spice alone could help to sort of increase libido. So that's cool. And now I'm just going to add some walnuts for heart healthy fat and crunch. And then again, for that, this is just pumpkin pie spice right on top. And you could eat this year round. Doesn't have to be just about Thanksgiving, and it could really help to sort of boost your sex life.
That
That's
looks
the first
delicious.
food.
That looks so yummy. What's next?
Next up is ginger. So ginger has been like a natural aphrodisiac for centuries, and it kind of makes sense. First, it also, like pumpkin, it has a unique aroma that could make us feel a little bit more in the mood or sexy. The second thing is that it also can help to increase circulation and perhaps even boost testosterone levels. And what I love about ginger also is it's an anti-inflammatory, which means that it eases aches and pains, so it makes us feel more comfortable in our skin. And I think that alone could help us to feel a little bit more sexy. And when it comes to ginger, it's both ginger root and dried powder ginger. Both have the active compounds. So I'm showing muffins here because I actually made ginger muffins. You could take any batter, whether it's a pancake batter or a muffin batter or even bread, and you could see how pretty those look. I even put pumpkin seeds on the top. But you could turn any sort of recipe that you have into a little bit of a ginger spin. And here I just brewed some green tea and I put in a few strips of my ginger root, and the kitchen smells amazing, but it's also super delicious, and it's got some potent health perks as well and can help to boost libido. So that's our second food, ginger.
Ooh, that does sound great. I love the idea of putting the ginger in the green tea. Now we're moving on to one of my favorites, dark chocolate.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be everybody's best category, dark chocolate. So dark chocolate, it's a little bit of a tongue twister, is really great because it has flavanols, which helps our blood vessels to better contract and dilate. It keeps them elastic. So again, it's all about that blood flow all over your body. And I'm coupling it with strawberries because I just feel like chocolate-covered strawberries are the ultimate in the mood romantic snack or treat, but also because berries have those very same flavanols. So you're sort of getting like a 2-for-1 punch here. And I'm going to show you how to make my version of the healthy Nutella. It's light, it's delicious, it's super indulgent. You can see how creamy it is right there. And it's very, very simple. So the first thing I'm doing is this is a creamy peanut butter, and I'm adding a 1/4 cup. And the reason it's so pourable, Gayle, is because I put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds so it gets nice and soft and we can stir it. That's a good little trick. This is the cocoa powder. This is what's going to have the flavanols, and I'm adding 3 tablespoons and then 3 tablespoons of either sugar or one of those like monk fruit or stevia sugar substitutes if people are trying to cut back on added sugar. And then just 3 tablespoons of water. And I hope we have time. I'm going to show you how this creams up. It is so luxurious and so delicious. And then you just dip away with your strawberries or any other fruit. Bananas work. By the way, bananas have that potassium in them too. So let me see if you could see this right now. You see how it's starting to come together?
Yeah, that looks so good.
Yeah. And then all you need, by the way, after that is, I'm going to go there, a glass of vino.
Nice. I love it. Joy, cheers to you, my friend. These were great ones. Thank you so much for joining us.
And cheers to you, Gayle.
All right, I'll see you soon. You can find these recipes on our website. Make sure you follow Joy on social media like I do. And up next, we've got some ways for men to spice things up in the bedroom when Bloom returns.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology just $347. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology, many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $347. Plus, we'll add a portable charging dock and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $347 and free shipping. Call now.
800-854-2435. Again, that's 800-854-2435.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by South Bay Medical Clinic.
Welcome back. ED is a medical condition that affects millions of men's confidence and lives every day. But it doesn't just affect the men struggling with it, it affects their partners too. And here's the thing, you don't need to make serious changes to get some relief. There's a new revolutionary treatment for ED without pills, injections, or surgery. Katie Harward of South Bay Medical Clinic is here to talk about their non-invasive procedure that might just help you and your partner get some intimacy back. Welcome to Bloom, Katie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So Katie, we've talked before about common questions men with ED have for South Bay Medical Clinic. This time though, we're going to talk about frequently asked questions from their significant others. So here's one now. How do I know if my partner is a candidate for your treatment?
Okay, so like I like to say and start off, if you see a change in communication style, if you see things lacking in the bedroom, these are big telltale signs that the man is struggling with something. So ask them, have that open communication, that open dialogue, talk to them, make them feel comfortable about it. And if they are, they can tell you what might be going on. And if they see that there might be having troubles, ED might be the issue. And ED is a treatable diagnosis. So you can see if the blood flow is an issue. What it is a breakdown and the lack of blood flow that is going on. So what you do, come in, get a blood flow ultrasound, and if you have the lack of blood flow, then we can treat you here at South Bay.
Okay, here's another commonly asked question. What do I need to know as a partner of someone struggling with ED?
Yeah, good question. So what you need to know is this is very prevalent. Over 50% of men in their 50s struggle with this, and the numbers of men in their 40s are on the rise. So know that you are not alone in this. Also know that as a woman, this is not your fault, or as a significant other, this is not your fault. This is a treatable diagnosis. It's not his fault either. This is a medical condition, but thank goodness it is treatable here at South Bay. We can help you out.
And another commonly asked question is, what sort of changes should I expect to see in my partner and relationship after these treatments?
Okay, so we know that intimacy is a super glue to relationships. So when we see the intimacy coming back, we see communication opening back up, we see the relationship growing, and that is our overall mindset. And what we need to see is we want to see the relationship thriving again. And when we get the intimacy back, that happens.
Now, are partners allowed to attend treatments?
Absolutely. We actually see better results when the partners do come. And I think that's because of both open communication and because it's not so hush hush and quiet.
So Katie, do you have any special offers for our Bloom viewers today?
Yes, please give us a call right now. Don't hold off any longer. You will get the free assessment, free exam. You will even get the free blood flow ultrasound, which sees if you're a candidate. We will also give you a special gift that provides rapid results in the bedroom. And today and today only, we will give you free tune-up treatments. If you see the results from your treatments kind of slipping away and you come back in, we'll get your blood flow right back to start.
All right, Katie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
And you heard Katie. Call South Bay Medical Clinic now at 813-5 565-1000 or visit online at southbaymedicalclinic.com. Plus, today only, patients qualify for 3 tune-up treatments at no charge. This is a $1,000 value, absolutely free. Again, this is today only, so call 813-565-1000. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by South Bay Medical Clinic.
Couples looking to improve their relationships, open up lines of communication, and who want a healthier outlook when it comes to sex often turn to couples therapy. Our next guest is an expert in that field. Joining us now from Life Focus Group Tampa is psychotherapist Dr. Gina Midyat. Dr. Gina, it's great to see you.
Thank you. It's always great to see you as well.
And Dr. Gina is like losing her voice a little, so she was such a champ to come in today for the special, and I'm so glad you did, because this is where you really shine when it comes to couples therapy. I know you've worked with so many couples over the years, and one of the top things that you wanted to talk about is the importance of communication. Before we even start talking about the health benefits of having a good sexual relationship, we got to talk about the communication.
Yes, and a lot of couples, they don't want to talk about it. They find it very scary to talk about what their desires, what their needs are, but it's so important to ask questions, because if you might think that your partner wants something, but they really don't. So you need to talk to each other about what your desires are, what your needs are.
What do you do if you go to talk and open up that line of communication, and on the other end you're receiving a little bit of resistance and or like, you know, almost like, I don't know how I would say it, but like defensiveness?
So the reason that couples become defensive is because they feel attacked. So the main thing is to ask, what do you want? What do you like? You know, ask questions like, when I've done things to you or when I've touched you, what makes you feel good? What makes you happy? So when you use questions like I messages, you won't be as defensive.
Okay, that's really good.
Yes.
And then you say, and this might hold true for women, I'm obviously speaking from a woman's perspective, but you really need to know yourself. Yes. Before you know what you want. And we'll tread around this delicately because, you know, we're on in mid-afternoon, but it is important to know yourself.
Absolutely. I tell especially women all the time, look in the mirror and start loving your body. Feel sexy. Find one part of your body that you really love and then accentuate that. Put on a little makeup, put on some beautiful shoes or a beautiful outfit, something that'll make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, because as women, the number one thing that we do so often, and I think social media and media in general, what we see around us, we are so self-conscious. We're breaking ourselves apart. I mean, and I have 4 daughters. I have to watch myself because I'm constantly beating myself up, and that's probably the number one thing that we need to stop doing.
Absolutely. What your partner wants is confidence. And I promise you, I tell women all the time, your partner loves you exactly for who you are. You have to love who you are. Don't put all this clothes on and turn the lights off. Expose your body, love who you are.
Love who you are. I like that.
Yes.
Now let's talk about mindfulness and how mindfulness plays into all of this, because there's kind of been a reoccurring theme where women especially get stuck in their head, and that's going to block you from having the intimacy that you want.
Absolutely. Sex is all about the mind. So if you don't have an intellectual connection with your partner, you're not going to have a good sex life. So really, be in the moment, be present and focus. Turn off the phone, turn the TV off, and be alone with your partner and be in the moment, be present.
That's a really, really good one. Now, let's talk about something that I think that a lot of people don't really understand, because, sometimes there's been a shameful label attached with sex, but you have to realize that science says that sex is good for your overall health, both mentally and physically.
It is. So a healthy body equals a healthy sex life. So you need to eat your greens, exercise, get some rest. But having sex makes you feel better. It keeps the connection going in your relationship. And not only will you look better when you exercise, but you'll feel better, and then you'll have a healthier sex life.
And then we only have seconds left, but you say, you know, when you're in a healthy, committed relationship and you feel like you've hit that rut, it's okay to start thinking about things that are more outside of the box.
Exactly. Start experimenting. You know, maybe you want to try new things. You just talk to each other and don't be afraid to experiment and just explore new opportunities for each other.
Well, Dr. Gina, I really appreciate you coming in, especially with your voice being...
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You sound amazing, but I hope you'll come back. It's been a long time since I've seen you, and I always love working together with you.
Thank you so much.
You're
I love
welcome.
being here.
Thank you. All right, you can find this story on our website, and stay tuned. We'll be back with the answer to today's Bloom Trivia question when we return.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-925-8035. That's 800-925-8035.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call me right now. The IRS is the most relentless collection agency in America. They have the power to legally take everything you own. Home, paycheck, autos, any asset you have. So what do? Call me now. My team of experts can help you keep your money. We have programs that can significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe, even payment plans that now stretch out for months. We can also stop collection calls, wage garnishments, and remove tax liens. So if you owe the IRS a lot of money and you want to keep it, don't wait. Call the tax man right now.
Call the tax man. Ooh, call the tax man. Call the tax man.
It's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. How many times a year does the average American couple have sex? 32, 66, or 89 times? The answer is 66. According to the National Opinion Research Center, the average American couple reports having sex 66 times a year. Married adults under the age of 30 say they have sex an average of 109 times a year. The average number drops to 70 times per year for 40-somethings and 52 times a year for people in their 50s. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. Don't forget to follow Bloom on social media. We're on all major platforms. And follow our Bloom bonus podcasts that hit Apple's New and Noteworthy. Listen to our Bloom experts and extended conversations by searching my name on all podcast platforms. And we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We're focusing on staying healthy in Tampa Bay. From the upcoming 5K St. Pete Grand Prix race to Benefit Police Athletic League, where you can run on the IndyCar racetrack, to all the fun free workout classes and activities that you can take advantage of in downtown Tampa to stay fit. We're going to give you all the scoop. So stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.